everybody, so today I'm going to be doing a video on the reality of living with BPD, which is otherwise known in the UK as UPD, and I'll link my last video in the bio for you all to have a watch, and that basically outlines the traits of people that have BPD and EUPD, and this one is more to do with the reality of living with it. It's a very complicated illness to live with, unfortunately, and before I get started, I know it's a very misunderstood illness and it can be misinterpreted by a lot of people because there's not actually that much information about it, which is funny because quite a lot of people are diagnosed with it, and I think it'd be easier if people were actually informed more about it, because I've had people ask about it and I just don't know how to explain it to somebody, but then at the same time I just wished I could, because I wish people were more in tune with what it is. So yeah, I'm going to share with you how I feel and what it's like with having EUPD and BPD, because they're the same illness. And I'm going to firstly start with, remember, it's not your fault that you're ill. One of my CPNs decided to tell me this, and it's really stuck with me in my head, and it's not your fault that you've got it, and you don't just wake up and want to be ill. Just like with a physical illness, you don't just wake up and be like, oh, I want to have an infection or whatever. And yeah, having an illness doesn't define you either. It can just help you get treatment, although there isn't much that can treat BPD and EUPD. However, DBT, dialectical behaviour therapy, is meant to be good with it, and it's just about learning how to control your emotions and just learn about your triggers, and yeah, you can live a normal functioning life with BPD to feel when you have BPD and EUPD. So yeah, every day is a battle in my mind, fighting my emotions, constantly reminding myself that my friends, family don't hate me and I am good enough for them. One wrong word, one look, anything that feels like rejection is rejection to me. Then I obsess about it, pick myself apart, and before I know it, I have no idea what the trigger was. It is a war zone in my mind. Trying to control everything in my mind is painstaking and exhausting. I want to be alone, but I don't want to be lonely. When I do make connection, I'm petrified. I'll attach myself. I've had too many attachments to count, especially with mothering figures. And that's in my case. Other people can be attached to different people, just so you know. I obsess because that's what I do. No calls, no messages equals rejection. It doesn't matter the reason, I become overbearing and annoying at times. Bad enough that I push people away, certainly through my outbursts of anger that I have. Then I'm alone. I can't bear people abandoning me, so I always push them away instead of them doing it to me. Some days it feels like I don't have a heart, but others it feels like it's going to explode out of my chest. Some days suck, truly suck. Some days are great, but I never know what each day will hold. I never know who I'll be when I wake up. Will it be Becca that physically feels like she can't get out of bed, but then manages to drag herself out at 1 PM? Or will I be Becca that is bursting with energy and gets out of bed at 8:30 AM. My mood can fluctuate, my mood can fluctuate in seconds throughout the day, also for no apparent reason. Always exhausted but struggle to get to sleep. 2 AM or 3 AM is a usual time for me to see on the clock. Even with my medication that once knocked me out in an hour for a solid 12 to 14 hours, there is no end. I'm a prisoner in my own mind, learning to live in this hell, even though I feel suicidal almost every day, but I am not actively suicidal each and every day. I struggle a lot with trust, a whole load of thoughts spinning round and round in my head, from they don't like me, please like me, they're going to leave me, if they don't give me attention constantly, they don't care or like me, I don't deserve to be loved, they like others more than me, I need to be skinnier, prettier, cleverer to be liked. I was born with a soul that is way too sensitive for this world. It's become apparent I feel emotions much more intense than others. I feel things deeper and differently to most. It has always been my blessing and my curse. I can empathise with people very, very quickly. But with feeling feelings so intense, it frustrates and angers me, and a lot of the time I don't know how to describe how I feel, so I self-harm as my outlet, or sometimes to make me feel more alive, as I feel numb and empty quite a lot of the time. It can feel like I'm a robot in my own skin.